Hello, AJ.
Hello, mate. Sorry I'm a bit late. It's been a slightly chaotic day for one reason or another. Jamie had sort of meetings back to back and then got stuck on the bleeding motorway coming home. So I was just there, just hanging out with Brodie, passing the time until she finally got home and I could get myself here.
Richard or the dog?
No, the dog. The dog.
Yeah.
Richard is still working.
Yeah. Busy sort of week behind the scenes, like we'll come to more of that later, but it was my mum's 80th birthday yesterday.
Sweet.
Yeah, not that she listens to this show, but happy birthday to my mum. And even if she could listen to it, she probably hasn't got the best of hearing. And she'll probably clip me around the ear. She'll probably listen to this one, then clip me around the ear and tell me off for telling porkies.
She'll end up clipping me around the ear as well, actually. Bring me down with you.
Well, she's 80. She's had all kinds of illnesses. She's had about 14 hip operations, but she's still getting round and she's still
going.
Yeah, she's still alive and kicking. And on Saturday we're celebrating her 80th birthday in Salford.
What are you doing?
A lot of the family come in for a nice party.
Nice.
It's not a surprise, so
she knows
certainly wouldn't be now if it.
No, not at the age of 80. How's her ticker?
So I'm looking forward to the. She's okay. She's in, like I say, she's in fine fettle.
Okay.
She's fitter than me, to be fair. Looking forward to seeing all the family.
Yeah.
Just
Sounds good, yeah.
So looking forward to that, and then
Yeah.
I've started a new habit.
Uh-huh.
It's called arguing with the TV.
Oh, you doing that too, huh?
Yeah, I do that. You see, what it is, right? I've ran out of things to watch.
Okay.
So I've not found a box set yet. So I'm waiting for somebody to turn around and say there's a fabulous series on. It's about drugs, murder, and all that. Like somebody will.
That's what you're into, drugs and murder.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's. I don't know. Sort of runs in tandem with being a chairman of a football club.
What you relying on drugs and murder to kind of settle you down after a hard day at the Schem United office?
We might get a few people up because of that. Listen, I'm not suggesting that for 1 minute, but listen, what it is, I've been watching Coronation Street and Mick's escape from prison.
Right.
Now, I don't know whether you watch Coronation Street at all.
I haven't done for a few years, no.
Well, anyway, listen, I was just completely complexed by the idea that he could escape from prison so easily. So what I've said to myself is, if I'm ever locked up, I want to be locked up in his prison.
Okay.
And I know it's not real,
no,
but that doesn't really matter.
HMP Weatherfield or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It won't be Strange Ways by any stretch, I should think.
No, have you been watching anything on telly? Anything interesting?
I have, as it goes. Love Island. No, it's not.
You're a liar. You have been watching it, haven't you? Or have you been listening to Ben?
No, God.
Ben Britton's forced into.
Is it?
Yeah, our social media guru, who we'll mention later. But yeah, he's. I believe he's forced into watching it.
Oh God.
By his girlfriend.
Poor kid. No wonder he's...
So you don't watch it?
No, I don't. I've been watching this TV show. It's quite an old one, actually. It's not current, but it's called Burn Notice, and it's on Disney Plus, and it ran for 6 seasons from 2007 to 2013, and it's about this secret agent who receives a burn notice, and what that means is he's been blacklisted by the CIA, so he can't work at all, and he's got no identity, he's got no bank account. He's got nothing at all. So he was burned and blacklisted in the middle of a job in Nigeria. Managed to escape on a plane to Miami. So the series is set around him with his ex-girlfriend and his handler from the CIA, going around helping people out with their problems and difficulties, whilst at the same time trying to figure out who burned his secret identity and seeing if he can get his way back into the CIA.
Now that sounds like something that I'd like to watch. And that's on Disney Plus, you say? And there's 6 series of that?
6 seasons.
Wow, so there's 6 seasons to get through. And that, like you say, is on Disney Plus. It's not based on a true story, no?
Not as far as I'm aware, no.
But funnily enough, I have actually been watching a box set, but it's a slow burner for me. And it's called Person of Interest. And I think they've got another 6 series.
Yeah, I remember that one.
To go through. And it's sort of... You once you start getting the gist of the story, you think to yourself, this is pretty much the way the world is turned. Now, everybody's under scrutiny. There's not... there's cameras everywhere. You wonder whether people can tap into your mobile phones. And, well, listen, I'm pretty sure they can.
Well, the Daily Express did, didn't they? No, News of the World.
Yeah,
they did, didn't they? The phone hackings.
Yeah,
stuff.
But just tap into anyone's...
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. So there you go. Person of interest and burn notice.
Yeah. And listen, just a quick one. Connie Francis is dead, aged 87. You probably won't remember who she is.
She's a singer, wasn't she?
Yeah. Who's Sorry Now? Stupid Cupid, Pretty Little Baby. She was the first female to top the US Billboard charts, and as a kid, my mum and dad were big fans of Connie Francis. My mum, whenever she gets up on the karaoke, she always sings Who's Sorry Now. That's
her song of choice.
And she likes Patsy Cline as well. She's a big Patsy Cline fan as well. I don't know whether she's still alive, but the other one is Isak versus Dubois on Saturday. Bothered or not bothered?
Isak versus Dubois.
Isak versus Dubois.
Oh, Isak versus
Dubois.
Right,
Yeah.
the boxing.
The boxing. Do you watch boxing?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was quite sort of heavily cut in when Tyson Fury was on the scene. But Daniel Dubois, I think, may be the only realistic heavyweight who could take Isak, but I don't see it
Low
happening.
blow or not in their last encounter.
No, I just think
he was hurt.
He was hurt, absolutely.
Listen, everybody can be hurt. I mean, this might be the one. He's getting on as well, isn't he? What is he now?
Usyk is 38.
38.
He's 38, and Dubois is about 27, something like that. But there are sports people in their 30s and 40s who've continued to defy, biology, and I think Usyk is one of those. It was said that after his first fight with Tyson Fury, obviously it was a real kind of slugfest. It had gone the full 12 rounds, but the next day he was swimming to recover. Didn't stay in bed with the champagne and the pizza. He was out there training again. It's just how he lives his life, really.
Bit of an athlete like myself.
Absolutely, yeah. At the peak of his powers, it would seem.
Yeah. And listen, just one quick one before, because we really need to move on to the show. I mean, I've been adding notes because you've late. I've added a few pages. It was only 6 pages long. It's now 10. But listen, Angry Ginger's been down to the Daisy Hill Stadium, which has been renamed the Ginger Power Stadium. He's been down today to see his signs, his new signs for the ground.
Sounds good. Not sure how I feel about him naming a stadium after himself, but the sponsorship's got to come from somewhere, and if that's the name he's decided, then fine. That's fine.
Best of luck to them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it happens, doesn't it? I mean, you kind of have these names that were these stadiums that were named after people. So the Medeski Stadium, home of Reading FC, and the DW Stadium in Wigan, named after Dave Whelan.
What's the worst named stadium you can think of?
The worst named stadium that I can think of. Well, usually I can think of stadium names that have taken the sponsorship into account. That's why I love the name Stormy Corner, because I think it generates so much interest and so much kind of history within the club and the town. But it's not conventional, is it? It's not like the Skelmersdale Stadium or something like that.
Well, to be fair, I was the one that named it the Stormy Corner Stadium.
No kidding.
Believe it or not, and. Purely because I do a lot of digging and a lot of look at a lot of history of Skem, and there was an area very, very close, but more where the White Bear is, the big distribution centre on the corner as you're coming in. Yeah. That was relatively where Stormy Corner was, leading onto, I don't think it's called Sword Road, Mill Lane or whatever it is. So I thought it would be rather nice to name the stadium the Stormy Corner Stadium, but it was funny really because at the time, I think we were the Skelmersdale and Ormskirk College Stadium as well. So we'd given up the naming rights. So I used to introduce welcome to the Skelmersdale and Ormskirk College here at Stormy Corner. So I got away with both.
Yeah.
But it is a lovely name.
It is a gorgeous name. Yeah, I really appreciate something like that. I suppose for that kind of the worst the worst stadium names. Really, I'd have to say something like I think it's like the Lisa Carr Stadium or the Bet365 community stadium.
Just ones that come to me now.
Yeah.
And listen, no disrespect to Andy Holt, because I'd love to get him on this show, but the Wham Stadium. obviously named after his company, and fair dues, he's put millions and millions of pounds into the football
club. It just
club.
makes me think of George Michael's house.
Well, yeah, that always did for me, the same thing. But anyway, listen, should we get on with the show?
Yeah, let's crack on, come on.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ the Jet. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the third episode of the second season of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. And before I introduce my co-host AJ, I didn't realise until today that our last episode last week was our 30th episode.
No kidding. Did we make it to 30 already?
Yeah, landmarks.
Oh, well, look at that.
So welcome AJ.
Hello, Frank. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much again for tuning into another episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. As the football starts to now come back into focus and friendlies are being played in the run-up to the new season, we're getting all excited about the new season kicking off. So we're going to examine all the results of the friendlies that came by, including games that both Frank and I watched. We're going to, of course, cover Skelmersdale United, Prescott Cables, York City, and then we're going to move it up to the bigger end of the football scenery, where we cover Marcus Rashford, the Club World Cup, and the goings-on between Newcastle and Liverpool.
Should we start with the big boys then?
I think we should.
Yeah, I mean, we don't normally start a show talking about elite football, but
No.
I've been struggling to comprehend what's going on with Marcus Rashford. Now, I know you're a Manchester United fan, so you probably know a little bit more about it than I do. I just wanted to know what your opinion is on Marcus Rashford and his recent woes. Bearing in mind that Teddy Sheringham has gone on record as saying that he doesn't deserve a move to Barcelona if that's where he's going to end up. But, you know, first of all, why does he think that? Is it due to the lack of professionalism that he's shown, or is he justified in saying it?
Well, I think Marcus Rashford's struggles with United have been quite well known for a few years now. See, I think it's been the last 2 seasons he's had a really kind of difficult time of it. I think I reckon Teddy Sheringham's right. He doesn't deserve a move to Barcelona. I don't think he's shown that he can cut it consistently on the big stage. Obviously, he had that glorious season in 2023 when he scored 30 goals for United, but he's just not performing in the red shirt, and I wonder whether the pressure of wearing that red shirt gets to him, because when he went to Villa for half a season, he did fine. I think he scored 4 goals and had about 6 assists or something.
Did he get
like
injured
that.
towards the end of the season?
I don't think so. No, I think he was reasonably steady all the way through it.
It was surprising you said that he had that really good season in 2023, because the criticism that's been levelled at him is that he's not been the same player since he had a double stress fracture of the back in 2020, and a lot of people have said that he's lost his pace as a result of that. But if he scored all those goals in 2023, then he's certainly still competitive enough.
Oh God, enormously competitive. Yeah, I mean, from a physical standpoint, he's probably one of the best players at United. You know, his speed, his strength, you know, his skills, his aerial capabilities. He's got so much going for him physically, and he could be a United player. I mean, hell, he could be a United legend. But for some reason, just whatever's going on up in his head is not cutting it with what needs to be done on the ground, and I think that's been going on for just long enough now, long enough, and particularly when you consider how much money he's on.
What is he on?
He's on 300,000 a week.
Crikey, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
But listen, in terms of what is he, 27 now?
He's about 27, yeah.
Seems to have aged very quickly. Seems to have jumped from being a young player. I don't know whether that's just down to the pandemic. We seem to have lost a few couple of years, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
But during that pandemic, he teamed up with the Poverty and Food Waste charity Fair Share to deliver meals in Greater Manchester, and eventually got sort of lured in to become a what would you call it?
A spokesperson.
A spokesperson, and initially he was going to donate money, but he ended up doing a U-turn and helping out with the campaign. Then in 2021 he was awarded an MBE for his efforts. The slogan at the time was "No child in need go hungry." We all applauded this young man for doing what he did, and he's continued to do it. But you have to question whether the sort of moody prima donna situation that people are claiming that he's moody and he's a bit of a prima donna is down to how involved he got with politics, how serious he got at a very young age. Would you say that's?
I don't know whether it's right to call him a moody prima donna when there are so many worse players with that kind of mentality kicking around on the international stage at this point. I get that there are things that he's done wrong. When Erik ten Hag was in charge, Rashford was late for a training session, and then was benched for the game against Wolves. Now he came off the bench, scored, and apologised afterwards, and so he's clearly capable of owning up to his mistakes. I think I don't know if it's moody prima donna, but I certainly think he thinks he's better than what he is, and I think he does need to kind of find his love for football away from United. I don't think he's going to find it there anymore.
The moodiness and the prima donna, that's not something I've said. This is what a lot of people...
Well, yeah, but people were saying that about Wayne Rooney back sort of 10, 15 years ago, but Wayne Rooney could back it up. He was probably one of the best players England have had in the last few generations, whereas Marcus Rashford is not.
But it starts to stick with you, doesn't it, then? And then sort of a side effect of being told that you're a moody person. But listen, there was another person that had also said that the mood within the changing room was brought down a level or two because of his moodiness. Whether that is true remains to be seen. But listen, can we justify showing sympathy for players that are on vulgar sums of money for kicking a ball around, or do we hold them to account?
We got to show some sympathy, because at the end of the day they're still
mental health.
Yeah, they're still really young men, who've come onto the international stage because they've got a talent that the other 99% of us can only dream of, really, but that doesn't stop them having the same headspace as everybody else. That doesn't stop them from, being down, being depressed, wanting to shy away from everything and everyone. And, we've talked about the exposure that social media has on these kind of people, and it's more furious than ever, really. You've got 24-hour news channels and blog spaces dedicated to questioning Marcus Rashford's attitude, and no matter how much money he's going to be earning, money doesn't buy you happiness, and it certainly doesn't buy you your mental health. Unless he's going to live off the rest of his money and walk away from the game, and dedicate the rest of his time to focusing on his own mental health, then we should absolutely be showing sympathy.
Listen, there's far too much pressure on them. But thinking of one of the latest stories today, there was talk of Rashford joining Liverpool. Now, if that happens, it'll be the first time it's happened in 61 years. Phil Chisnell's £25,000 switch to Anfield in 1964 remains the last time a player was transferred directly between the two arch rivals. Phil said the only person that was bothered back then was his missus. If it happened now, I think they'd put barricades up on the M62.
I think you might be right. I don't think Rashford will go to Liverpool.
Put him under more pressure for starters, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, it puts him under more pressure for starters, and it puts he risks the anger of United fans by doing it. I don't think Liverpool need him. I think that I know that Darwin Núñez is purportedly on his way out, but from and obviously the
well, we're going to talk about Isak in a minute, so they don't really need Rashford if they.
Well, no, but the awful news about Diogo Jota is that still leaves a hole in Liverpool's attack as well, and that's got to be filled by somebody as well, unfortunately. But Rashford as a wide player, he's going to be competing with Salah and Diaz and Gakpo, as well as players like Harvey Elliott who could fill that mould as well. I just don't see it happening.
No. But listen, there's far too much pressure on these players.
Yes,
and we have to consider their feelings as well.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, there's pressure on footballers at all levels.
Are we forcing the best talent in this country to flee and go to other places? Or is it just the mentality, and it's a case of you've got to find the strength?
I think it.
We build them up to knock them down in this country, don't we?
I think you're probably right there. I think Paul Gascoigne was one who tempered a lot of people's patience. Despite being one of the most naturally talented players England have ever had. But would he be the same player in today's role? I don't think he would. The same with David Beckham as well. Like, I know he was very much the golden name of his generation, and like the first kind of crossover.
Golden balls.
Yeah, the first crossover between being a footballer and being a pop star or superstar in this generation. But I think we do kind of build them up to then break them down, and I think we do probably expect way too much of them in maybe the same way that we expect them some kind of roboticness of them. I think with Rashford, though, you can kind of see that he could try harder, but at the same time, it's being racist and being awful about him. That's not going to fly, and it's not going to help him get any better.
No. Listen, we'll move on to World Club Cup. Did you watch any of it?
The Club World Cup, I didn't watch a lick. I think I watched the highlights of it, but nothing kind of central to it.
So listen, I wrote an article earlier on in the week. I pretty much went full circle in my opinion. So Chelsea obviously clinched the world title, the Club World Cup title on Sunday night. They didn't just walk away with the bragging rights. They pocketed a jaw-dropping 84 million. Some people said 100 million. This year's competition boasted a whopping $1 billion prize pot. But the real question begs, what stood out more, the vulgarity off the pitch or the football itself? So let's not forget that the infamous decision by Manchester United to withdraw from the FA Cup back in 2000 They made a bold leap by joining the inaugural FIFA Club World Championship.
Yep.
Fast forward today, and they've revamped the tournament because it seemed to be a little bit on its on a bit of a wane, didn't it? So the football aficionados of practically drooling in delight, proclaiming it's a feast far superior to the Champions League. But let's keep it real. Folks like me can't help but feel that FIFA's power plays have thrown the beautiful game into a moral quagmire. Listen, we've seen plenty of empty stadiums, mismatched matchups, and genuine concerns over player safety and fatigue because it was played in extremely hot conditions. And yet, FIFA President Gianni Infantino pressed on as if orchestrating this grand spectacle of his own. Now, honestly, I can't provide a well-rounded critic of the football itself because I didn't really watch an awful lot of it. But truth be told, I find it challenging to immerse myself in Premier League action these days. As the chairperson of a non-league football club, that might not come as a shock. I prefer watching local football on a park field than sitting at home watching money spoiling football. Now, question is it vulgar? Is there a great deal of vulgarity?
I get that they want to bring some of the top football to parts of the world that are invested in seeing it, but whom the pull isn't quite there yet. But for me, it almost reminds me of the what was it called? The Super League, was it, that came about a few years ago?
Yeah, the idea that's...
Yeah, I think that's kind of coming back under...
Do you think that was a precursor, this Club World Cup?
Yeah, I think it is. I think because the name Club World Cup has been around for 25 years or so, there was less uproar about it. But I think I think the notion of it to some degree is still the same. But it's just picking off the best teams from each continent to kind of take part, which is it's fine to a degree. But there was it Bayern Munich who were playing an amateur team from New Zealand, and they absolutely walloped them 10-0.
Well, there's teams like Al Ain. Okay, Inter Miami. We've heard of those teams, but the imbalance was huge, wasn't it? It was like Skem playing Manchester City, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Although there's a lot more money at Inter Miami.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a bit more of a day trippers tournament, that. So with it being played on the Asian continent, it would mean that there's more scope for the rich and famous who live over in those parts to go and travel and be seen in those stadiums. Was it in Asia or was it in America?
It was in America, wasn't it?
Oh, was it in America? Right, pardon me. Well, yeah, it just kind of again reinforces that the pull of the money is way more, because football over in America is still the fourth biggest sport over there, behind American football, basketball and baseball. So does it really have the pull that it thinks it does, or was this just kind of a bit of a monetary free-for-all?
So I bet the question, but I moaned about Skem and the fact that we don't have a town centre, a train station, a cottage hospital, or a community sports hub. I don't even think we've got a tennis court. Yet that kind of football can attract that kind of investment. But what I did, like I say, I come full circle on it. And even though my opinion is how vulgar football has become at the top end, I often wonder if the same kind of business acumen was applied through our politics, whether this country would be in a far better state. So, FIFA can sort of, bring $1 billion worth of wealth to a 10-day football tournament, and we struggle to fill potholes in West Lancashire.
There's no profit in filling potholes in West Lancashire, though.
No, but what I'm saying to you is if you can find the money, like they can to put on a tournament, then they can afford to fill the potholes. They can afford to build a cottage hospital. But listen, so yeah, whilst I feel it's completely vulgar, and I'd just like a smidgen of that money, £3 million just to build a stadium.
£3 million would keep us running for...
Well, £3 million would build us a stadium, fit for purpose for the Northern Premier League, at least. You know, that when you say £3 million, it sounds like a lot of money, but
it's a drop in the ocean.
Us.
It's a drop in the ocean in the grand scheme of money from central government, isn't it?
Yeah, so listen, it all sort of links up well with the Rashford story, because it all relates to ownership and the fact that if you're getting paid millions of pounds to play football, then you don't really have the right to complain. So we don't really have the right to complain because we're all complicit. We all buy into it.
We do.
And our opinions, even though we give them, they don't really matter. So listen, moving on to Isak in Newcastle. I don't know his first name.
Alexander
Isaac, yeah.
Alexander Isak, yeah.
Isak, yeah.
Isak.
I said Isaac. He says Isak. More vulgarity. Liverpool have denied that they've made a formal approach for him. But the fact that the intermediaries have subtly made clear that Arne Slot's board would be prepared to pay about 120 million for house prize possession suggests that the deal might happen. What do you think?
I don't think it will. Newcastle have got back into European football this year.
But he's contracted up until 2028 as well, isn't he?
It's a big contract.
So they don't have to get rid of him?
No, they don't have to get rid of him, and I don't think that they will. I think Isak, between Isak, Tonali, Jacob Murphy, Anthony Gordon, they represent a serious kind of attacking richness, if you like, and I think that Howe hasn't actually spent much money in the transfer market, but I think he needs to. Newcastle are a team that are on the up and up, and I don't feel that it would be in Isak's best interest to kind of swap Newcastle for Liverpool, because Newcastle are kind of challenging Liverpool now. You know, they're in the top four. They're back in European contention. They won a trophy last year. It's all on the up and up for them. It doesn't make any sense.
But the Saudi owners of Newcastle, they can't ignore the case really to sell Isak because, I mean, we would imagine that there's obviously contractual rights which could lead to a buyout clause.
Yeah.
So really speaking, the contract's not worth the paper it's written on. So there might be an urgency to offload in that sense, because then they've got to find a replacement, haven't they?
They do, and I know that they were looking at. He was a guy out of the German league, but ironically enough, I think Liverpool are now going in for him. Give me a minute. Ekitike.
Who?
Hugo Ekitike. Ironically enough, Newcastle had a £70 million offer rejected for Hugo Ekitike, but now Liverpool are in advanced talks to sign him, I think, as an alternative to Alexander Isak.
Right.
Yeah, so it kind of triangulates the whole situation here, really. I think contracts are a bit of a kind of precursor to what we had in the Northwest Counties last year, which was the 7-day rule. And you know I'm a fan of the 7-day approach rule, when a team can take an interest in a player, and in return they will provide that player's football club with the intention to make a move on that player in 7 days. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. With at the top level, contracts make it a little bit more binding, but only if you've got the money to kind of buy them out of the contract. Or
as binding as they are, though, they don't force a player into playing to his full potential, do they? And that's the problem. So I think once that gets into the mindset, and obviously the opportunity to play for a Champions League former Champions League winning club, then it's...
Yeah, but Newcastle are there. Newcastle are in the Champions League. They won a trophy. They've been to Wembley. Eddie Howe has got them on the up. I do not know what Alexander Isak will gain by moving from Newcastle to Liverpool, other than being part of a bit of a winning machine last year when every other club seemed to stutter and crumble and have periods of inconsistency. But even then, they didn't win the Champions League or the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. All of those were won by different teams, one of which was Isak's team. So he doesn't gain anything more by joining Liverpool. He just doesn't.
But you see the level of improvement on the same sort of level as, say, Manchester City. I don't see Newcastle as becoming another Man City, even with all that investment.
No, I don't. I think that what City had was incredibly rare, and they kind of dominated the 2020s and the 2010s in the same way that United dominated in the 90s and the 2000s, and they were utterly unmatched, and they flexed financial prowess, they flexed potential, and I think Newcastle are closing the gap on Liverpool. Liverpool don't have oceans and buckets of money to spend, but Newcastle do, ironically enough. But Eddie Howe needs to...
If they're going to put if they've tabled £120 million offer, then they're starting to spend money. And Liverpool have never been known for overspending, have they? They've always had a strict sort of, not budget, but a top sort of whack price. They weren't prepared to pay any more than a certain level. Yeah. Now they seem to have moved up a step.
Have they abandoned that? I don't know, because they signed Van Dijk for 75 million, and I think he does remain their most expensive outlay. Or no, maybe Darwin Núñez at 85 million will have done it. But you see what I mean? It's kind of, they're gradually moving.
Van Dijk was a good investment, wasn't it?
He was.
You can't say the same about Darwin, can you?
No, you certainly can't. I don't think Liverpool are kind of breaking that boundary. I don't think this 120 million offer for Isak will come to reality, particularly if they're about to sign Hugo Ekitike. I just think it just sort of shows a bit more, again, vulgarity in finances at the top end of the footballing pyramid.
So as vulgar it is and as greedy as it is, I found myself completely absorbed and fascinated with all the greed, the power and the sheer ingenuity of it all as well. So it's... Listen, these stories will carry on coming throughout the close season, whether any of them are true. You know, we've mentioned £120 million there. There's no proof that's been offered. No. So listen, we move on to the more sort of near domestic sort of issues, and we'll start off with Prescott Cables, if you want to lead on
Prescott
that one.
Cables, yeah. So following amicable discussions, it's been announced that Joe Gibeleru, thank you, has stepped down.
I think so.
Oh, God. Well, he stepped down from the club's board of directors with immediate effect to focus on his work commitments. He holds the unique honour of having played for, managed and been chairman of Prescott Cables Football Club. He said in a statement, "There are not enough words of thanks that we can give to Joe for his dedication to Prescott Cables and the part he has played in our journey over the last 3 decades. From a young player in the 1980s through to his tenure as chairman between 2024 and 2025. Well, that would make it 4 decades, but I'm not being pedantic. And they sign off by saying, "We'll see you around soon, Joe." And I think he'll probably be looking forward to just cheering them on from the terraces, because being involved in a football club brings pressure, and I think he's probably been feeling the pressure the last
Is it 12 months he's been in charge?
I think something like that.
There was a bit of a backstory, wasn't there, last season when they released the manager, they brought Dave Dempsey, and then they did a complete U-turn.
Yeah, they did, which was, I think, my first kind of news point into non-league football. Yeah, so it was Stephen Daly resigned as the coach of Prescott Cables almost a year ago to the day. Actually, it was the 15th of July 2024 when Daly resigned, and Dave Dempsey took over. And then 4 days later, Dempsey went back to Burscough. Stephen Daly came back to Prescott Cables, and therein he's stayed. And
There was a change at board level then, wasn't there, I believe, and that's when Joe stepped up.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's about right. Yeah, and indeed, it kind of paid a few dividends as well, didn't it? They finished 10th in the Northern Premier League. West, thank you. Northern Premier League West last year. Not a terrible position for them to have been in at all. So they've still got some building to do, and I think it may be now the right time for a new era, if you like.
Yeah. Listen, and I was fortunate enough to watch Joe, and old enough to remember when he played and what a player he was back in his day.
Amazing.
So best of luck on whatever he does, and obviously they're saying he's going to focus on his work commitments, and hopefully his family as well, because we know how time consuming being involved with football can be.
Certainly can, definitely.
Well, now, listen, moving on to racism again, we seem to be regurgitating this story every now and then. York City Football Club horrified to learn of allegations of racial abuse aimed at Salford City players in a evening pre-season match last week, I think it was, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Both clubs, alongside the match officials, decided to take both teams off the pitch at the time. I think it was in the 85th minute.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Now, I've been to watch York City play numerous occasions, and I've never heard any racism whatsoever, so I can't really comment on that. But the latest news is a supporter has been arrested, and I don't know whether they've been charged, but
I don't think they've been charged. I certainly think that they've been banned for life from the club. York City, sent out a statement saying that they condemn racism in all forms, and they stand with Salford in condemning this behaviour in the strongest possible terms. The club is now working with North Yorkshire Police to investigate the allegations. Any spectators who may have witnessed the events should contact the police or York City Football Club as soon as possible. Any supporter found guilty of racial abuse will face the strongest possible sanctions from the club. We'd like to thank Salford City for their cooperation in what has been a deeply distressing evening. Now, Salford City actually released a video about 9 minutes long, in which they interviewed the player who was racially abused. I'm just going to find it now and find the individual concerned, who says he's been targeted with racist abuse before, and he'd just been booked and had been substituted by Salford, and he looks goes to the touchline, and there's an individual in the stands who is making some disgusting chants at him and sets it off. And now credit to Carl Robinson, the manager of Salford City, who immediately goes to protect his players who are standing up to this individual, then goes to the referee and says, look, we're taking the players off, and lets the players make up their own mind as to what they want to do with this. And
going back to what I said before, it was abandoned after 84 minutes, which suggests it must have got quite lively there for at that stage of the game to sort of call time on it.
Yeah, I mean there was a bit of a scuffle on the pitch between a few of the players, and that's what led to the player Adebola Alowu was the individual who was targeted. He'd been booked during this little scuffle on the pitch. Which nobody likes to see, particularly when it's a friendly, but competition happens, the heat of the moment, tempers rise, all of that. Alowu was booked, and is substituted.
Well, they should leave it to the referee to deal with the situation.
And he absolutely did. You know, the referee got involved within the
But the
melee,
supporters should.
separated it all
That's
out.
what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
the supporters should leave it to them as well.
Well, yeah, they should. But at the end of the day, they're there to watch a football game, you know. And unfortunately, it's the 1% that make these kind of disgusting,
I
mannerisms.
can't understand why we're still
No.
talking about it. It really
It's
annoys me.
2025, and people are complaining and booing about football players continuing to take the knee and continuing to have campaigns with kick it out and stand up to racism. And this is evidence in its most clear form of exactly why we've got to continue to take that fight to racism.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like I said before, a 23-year-old man from York has been arrested in connection with the allegation. What I'd like to say is, we've reported on this racism a few times before, and you often think it's an age related thing with dinosaurs, but we're talking about a 23-year-old man here should have been educated. Throughout this era of, sort of stamping it out racism.
Yeah.
But obviously he's not learnt anything at all.
No, he hasn't. And you would hope that it...
Do you think, and listen, he's obviously going to get, if he's found guilty of this, he's going to get banned from football.
Yeah.
And banned from York for a long time, I would imagine. Maybe even a lifetime ban, I don't know.
Possibly.
But do you think that will do? Do you think that will change him? Do you think he should, furthermore, should someone who employs him, should they sack him for that kind of behaviour as well? How do you teach these a lesson that they'll remember? You've got to be really, really tough on them, or does that make them worse?
I think it's...
You can't educate them, can you?
Well, I think you can. I would hope that you can. But I think I would assume that there is some kind of racism rehabilitation program going on, within the legal sector, and I think that would be part of it, to kind of understand exactly why what he did was so wrong. But the thing is, I don't think anybody is that stupid and that naive. I can't think that there's somebody who has just been so ignorant their entire lives to observe people of a different skin complexion to them and decide that it's okay to target them about that. I can't believe that in 2025 that is still a way of life for people. It can't be. No.
Well, listen, let's talk about abuse in different forms. If a player on the pitch is aggressive and starts fighting with someone, or there is a scuffle, then people are going to abuse the players. Now, I'm not talking about racism here. They're going to look for an opportunity to act some kind of revenge on maybe one of their players that has been hit or spoken to in a nasty way. Is it up to the footballers as well to make sure that their behaviour, and I'm not making any excuses for racism here, but I'm talking about the standard abuse that you hear every time at a football match?
Yeah, I think so. I've said this before. I think in the heat of competition, things, tempers escalate. They do. We see it in every single sport. I saw it in the cricket earlier on this week. And I think it does happen, where people want to kind of have a go, but then it's about context and taking a step back and just realising that you're feeling what you're feeling in the heat of the moment in competition, and not because you're genuinely out to hurt somebody. And I think it is on the players, and I think that is on the captain and on the referee to lead that, to lead that kind of, contextual look back at behaviour and say, this needs to go, this needs to stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to make the point that we
no level
stand,
of racism at all.
Absolutely, is acceptable, and we stand with York City, we stand with Salford City, and we stand with Adebola Alowu, and we hope very much to see him back on the pitch soon.
And listen, I witnessed an awful lot of racist abuse aimed at some of our players the season before last, when including racism that was aimed at Pascal Chimbonda as well. It's just something that really, really cheeses me off. Yeah, so listen, moving on. Betting scandals. Now, Southport boss Neil Dan's only been in the job for 5 minutes, and he was already facing a ban from football for breaches of Football Association's rules on betting. But in the end, he was given a suspended 6-month ban for 2 years, is it? I think something like that.
Yeah, and a £1,000 fine.
Wow, yeah.
Placing 65 bets on football matches between February 2007 and August 2022, when he was a player. During that time, he was a little bit of a journeyman, having played for Birmingham City, Crystal Palace, Leicester City, and Bolton. Since 2014, FA rules state anyone associated with a club in the top 8 tiers of English football is banned from betting on any aspect of the sport worldwide. Of the 65 bets Dan's made, 62 were placed before those rules were changed and 3 afterwards, which may be why his
they've been really lenient on him, yeah.
Is so low, yeah. Of the pre-2014 bets, mostly or wholly accumulators. 2 involved selections where Dan's own side could lose, and 3 featured selections on his team to win. A Football Association Regulatory Commission report said that Dan's bets were modest stakes on a Saturday accumulator on a reasonably wide spread of games. The Commission added there is no suggestion he was match fixing, betting with the benefit of any particular inside information, or that there was any suspicious activity or betting patterns. In total, Dan staked £2,137.68 and won £814.43, a net loss of £1,323.25.
Would you be more worried about explaining that to the missus?
Not when you're earning as much money as what Dan's was. The 6-month ban is suspended until the end of the 2025-26 season. His sanction comes in the same week as Ryan Bowman was banned for 3.5 years by the FA for betting on matches he was involved in. The 33-year-old former Exeter City, Shrewsbury Town and Torquay United forward made 6,397 bets over an 8-year period. Now, they've got to be seen to be making some kind of an example of him. I get that there are rules and that Neil Dan's broke them, but there were 3 bets, which I think why is the punishment has been relatively lenient by all accounts, particularly when you consider the state that the 2 Premier League players who were involved in match-fixing scandals have been caught in. Mikhailo Mudryk of Chelsea and the West Ham player Lucas Paquetá, both of whom are facing lifetime bans from the sport for their involvement in match-fixing.
You know that I've been involved in a betting scandal myself.
I wasn't aware of that.
I did think we'd mentioned it on a previous show, but maybe we didn't. But sort of try to explain the complexities of a betting scandal, if you want to put it that way. At the end of a season, I can't remember which season it was, that Tommy and I put a bet on. I think it was with Corbett or something like that. And what we did is 3 teams to win. 2 were in the division above us, 1 was in the same division. I was allowed to bet on teams above, but it wasn't at the same level. The bet came in. I think we put £200 on the bet, and the return should have been around about £4,000. Somebody who seen us really excited at the end of the game. This was an end-of-season bet, by the way, so it was really a good way to end the season because we were thinking, whoa, we won a lot of money. As it turned out, I was reported by someone who was in the vicinity, reported to the FA, and also they found out which betting company that I laid the bet with, and they reported it to them as well. Now, what I would say to you is, in terms of if you're betting on the horses, you can ring up tipsters, you can study form, you can do all of those things that suggest you'll have you'll be a step ahead in terms of where you're going to put your money. It's the same thing in football. If you're knowledgeable about football, you will know whether a team is going to field a weakened team. You also, most of the time, you would realise that having been watching these teams, that you would know genuinely that the teams that they're competing against are probably a little bit better. So you know where you're betting. It's not that you're betting because you've got inside information and you know somebody's going to throw a game. That was never the case with me. But it does appear that the rule book as it stands is benefits the betting organisations more than it does the punters. So they put a block on it. They never paid me out, even though it was proven really. I mean, I got a 5-year ban that was suspended for. Suspended, yeah. So I didn't have to serve any of it. Obviously, I had to make sure that I didn't bet any longer. But I was sat in, I can't remember whether it was in York, because I've been to that many disciplinaries, and it might not have been. It might have been Liverpool or Manchester, and I think Nat Lofthouse was on the panel.
The Bolton player.
Yeah, and he turned around at the very end of it and he said, "It's been really, really nice to meet you." He said, "In future," he said, "lay off gambling, women and booze," he said, and you'll do well in life. Now, I didn't know, but I think that Lofthouse was a very religious man, but nonetheless a great player. So listen, I've stopped betting now anyway, but it just shows you that I don't think, like I say, I think the betting companies benefit from these rules more than the players. But listen, on another note, I see ex-Schem United footballer Dana Amarell has signed for Southport.
Okay.
Really, really good player. Didn't quite do anything particularly great at Schem, but he was a great player. But in a relatively poor team.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what he can do. Just a little bit concerned about Southport and looking at their overall recruitment, and I think it's going to be a really, really tough season for them because they seem to be going for a little bit of youth
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this on last week's shows that the two new fellas in charge of Southport were making a point to invest in youth and younger players, having kind of been bringing in statesmen and experienced players for the last few years, and it didn't turn out quite so well for them. They had an unspectacular season, to say the least, and I think that they want to turn a corner with this one. Yeah,
but listen, they're getting the finances in place, and they probably realise what their natural level is right now, and it's pointless overspending. But listen, moving on to it, there's all sorts of kinds of what would you call them? What stories would you say these are? What do we normally call this? This part controversial. Well, you can't get any more controversial than Morecambe. Listen, we'll come to Dagenham after, but let's go to Morecambe first. Yeah. On the verge of closure. Yeah. A lot has been. I think we mentioned it on last week's programme. We noted that the Punjab Warriors takeover had fallen through, and according to Jason Whittingham, he said that there was another buyer interested. Allegedly now, the Punjab group are owed money because they obviously put money into the Morecambe project before they've actually taken over. They'd passed the fit and proper test, which they have to in order to become owners of a football club. Yeah. But it looks as though, there's reports now that the club could go out of business within the next 48 hours, and probably by the time that this comes out tomorrow. So we're recording Thursday. By the time it comes out Friday, which is today, which really all is to me, I don't complicate matters. But in the meantime, there's a fan-led group, a consortium, if you like, called the Shrimp Trust, who are trying to raise the money to save the club.
Yeah.
But it might be too late. I think they met with the FA today to see what can be established.
Okay. Let me.
Big worry though.
It's an enormous worry at this point. Let me see.
Listen, we know that a lot of football clubs are falling foul of the. I don't know whether football clubs think they're actually, or owners think they're bigger than they actually are, and overspending. We've seen what's happened with Farsley Celtic in recent months, and the fact that they went out of business. And I just think some owners overstretch, and when they've overstretched, they want to get the money back. I don't know whether this is the case. As far as I know, if you look on Companies House records now, every single person, including Jason Whittingham, have resigned from the
they don't have any. Well, yeah. So Jason.
So
Whittingham
that suggests that maybe Jason has sorted something out, and something's about
maybe
incoming. But I don't know.
It's possible. I think. It's a difficult one. So, from what I was able to gather, the board members resigned in anticipation for the Punjab Warriors coming into the club. So they were just simply vacating their seat at the table,
including Jason. But I thought Jason stayed on until the.
Well, that's it, yeah. So Jason was, I think, meant to be staying on until the Punjab War. I think he was meant to be the last man out the door, if you like. But if this deal has fallen through and there are no board of directors, I think this is a major kind of knife edge moment for Morecambe. So I'm just having a look now and just seeing what we can find out. There's nothing kind of in the news about their about them sort of staying alive.
I wonder if Tyson Fury would get involved and put a bit of money in the football.
I don't know. He's never been that big on football, has he?
Well, I spoke to somebody the other day and they said he's a big Manchester United fan.
He is
he's a Manchester person. Isn't he?
Yeah, he's born in Wythenshawe. And to be fair, he was just involved in Soccer Aid, although whether you can sort of count that as proper football, I don't know. But
he has his gym, doesn't he, at Morecambe's ground? I think his gym is there.
Does it?
His boxing gym, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know whether he owns it or he rents that part of the building
maybe
off them. But listen, it doesn't look at all good for them, does it?
No, it doesn't. No, and something needs to turn very fast for them to survive, and that's a real shame in itself.
Yeah.
Shame.
Well, it sort of quite highlights the fact that regardless of all the things that are sort of happened to us in recent years, we're still cracking on.
We are still.
But listen, we'll come to that later.
Yeah.
Success stories. I was drawn into the Dagenham story because of they'd signed Andy Carroll.
Yes.
Now Andy Carroll was out of contract. He'd just returned from France. He'd been playing over there and decided to sign for Dagenham, and he stated that there was clubs higher up the chain that were looking to sign him, but he said it had to be right for him. It doesn't matter what the level is or anything, as long as he get on the pitch and play football. That's all that matters. Coming here and showing people I'm just playing for the love of football rather than the money, and the level is something I wanted to do. But it's something which could be fantastic. We have a project to get them out of non-league and back up the leagues, and I've listened to his interviews on Sky Sports, and you've got to applaud him, because he's played at the top level: Newcastle, Liverpool, West Ham,
England.
So he left Bordeaux last month when he was out of contract, and he's now signed a 3-year deal with
The National League side.
With the National League side, Dagenham and Redbridge.
At the age of 36.
At the age of 36.
3-year deal, that's really good.
Well, yeah, listen, it is fantastic, but then you've got the likes of, just trying to think of other, we've got a lot of players that are playing longer. Well, if you look at Pascal Chimbonda started playing again at the age of 44, carried on into when he was 45. Kevin Ellison, who we're hoping to get on the show, he's prolonged his career by another season.
Well, he's 46.
So he'll be 47 by the time he finishes next season, if he decides to hang his boots up. But listen, that's a totally different story.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get him on the show soon. But another good sort of look story off the back of the fact that Andy Carroll's come there. They've also announced that they've agreed terms with Club Underdog and a consortium of prominent Qatari private investors for the 100% acquisition of Dagenham and Redbridge shares, which were held by Club Underdog. So it looks as though it looks really exciting for Dagenham.
Yeah, it does very much so. So the new ownership group will appoint Mr. Youssef Al Sharif as interim chairman, supported by the club's former captain Anwar Uddin MBE, who's going to join as a non-executive director. There will also be a board of investors bringing expertise in football data and finance. Youssef Al Sharif has said, "This is a club with deep roots and real meaning. I've followed English football closely for years and know what clubs like Dagenham represent to their community. We're stepping into something that matters to people's lives and don't take that lightly. We're here to contribute properly and earn our place. This will take time, but we're committed to building with care, ambition and respect for everything Dagenham and Redbridge stands for." I can really appreciate something like that, because it's one thing for a new owner to come in and start saying, right, I'm here, let's get my wallet out, we're going to sign all the best players. Mm-hmm. But actually, that's what makes a football club unsustainable as a business.
Yeah, definitely.
So if he's bringing in investors with deep expertise in football data and finance, it means that he probably understands the current market of what it is to be a non-league football club and how perilous it can get. So to kind of put on your pragmatic hat and start building slowly is the best way to go about this. And then signing Andy Carroll is a bit of a what would you call it? A marquee signing, if you like, to just kind of state their ambition.
Definitely, and quite refreshing that a player, is prepared to come down into non-league football and invest himself in a project.
Yeah, very much so. I think Andy Carroll is a very, head on his smart head on his shoulders kind of guy. We've never really seen him in trouble. He's never been involved in any kind of scandals or any kind of controversy at all. It just seems like a good guy who's just wanted to play football. And you can really, really respect that. If he's still scoring goals through the season as well, that's going to be a major, boost for Dagenham and Redbridge's inevitable promotion prospects.
Yeah. He had quite a unremarkable friendly the other night, didn't he? I think he didn't do particularly well, but
but
he'll get. Listen, I think his sort of first foray into that level of football, he was getting knocked about a little bit.
Oh yeah, and I think he will do. I think people are going to be eager to showcase exactly what they can do to Andy Carroll, the former Premier League and England player. Andy Carroll, you want to leave a mark on him, without ever endorsing violence within the football world. You want to say that you marked Andy Carroll out the game, don't you?
Yeah, if you're going to have a claim to fame, you may as well have that one. Listen, do you want some breaking news?
Go on then.
Breaking news, right? We're talking about investments and takeovers and all that.
We are.
Snoop Dogg might be investing in Swansea City. Can you imagine
of
that?
All the teams, Swansea City.
Yeah, well, I mean, Swansea, a former Premier League club,
Well, yes, I know they're a former Premier League club.
Arguably the best. Where are they now, Swansea? Are they back up again? I don't know.
They're still in the Championship.
Are they? Yeah. Arguably the biggest club in Wales, alongside Cardiff. Which one would you say there?
I mean, you're probably looking at Wrexham right now.
Any of our Welsh followers who might argue the toss over that.
They might argue the toss over that, and I think a fair few of them would probably argue that Wrexham are in that position right now to say that they're the biggest club in Wales.
Crikey, you know what? I forgot about Wrexham. Yeah. Well, yeah, big shout. I mean, but they've got to continue that for the level of time, haven't they?
They certainly do. Well, I don't know. Equally, you could probably put Merthyr Tydfil as a bit of a claim to fame as Merthyr Tydfil is the biggest club in Wales, because why not? Or indeed the New Saints.
But if you consider the Welsh Premier League, then it's definitely the New Saints. They probably won more than anything.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
No doubt about that. Listen, we're not going to go into a part 2 or a part 3. We're just going to go straight through because we got no guest this week. We're lining them up for later on in the series.
Certainly are. But while football starts to pick up speed again, we'll just be examining the games.
It's really busy though. That's the other problem. It's really busy for managers at this period of time and chairman, because the close season doesn't stop for all of us, does it?
No, I suppose it doesn't really. Well, no, you and I both know this. Really, we've kind of both been working hard.
Probably the hardest part of the year, really, in many ways.
Yeah, I think it is. I've been on the phone quite a lot this week. Yeah. I know you have as well, which we'll get on to.
Well, we're going to talk about Schem United first, as we do.
Okay.
Towards the end of the programme, a lot of good things are happening behind the scenes. Can't really go into great detail, but
we're speaking to people.
And I don't want to say anything now until we get something over the line. But listen, what we have done is we've managed to secure the services of a new social media guru in the shape of Ben Britton, and he's doing an absolutely fabulous job.
Yeah.
We interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah, and he stood out really well. He's a local lad. He's from Schem. He's been to Stormy Corner and seen Schem play. And
his uncle was once assistant manager to Tommy Lawson as well.
There we go. Yeah, what was his name?
Gary Britton.
Gary Britton, there you go. So Gary Britton's nephew Ben has now has joined us as our social media operative. Loves Schem, loves the job that he does. Really passionate about the club and just wants to help them grow on the social media side of it. And in fact, he has done. There are more people now interacting with our content, or should we say Ben's content, than we have had in the last few years. So we're hoping to kind of draw more interaction from that, and maybe even eventually get them in through the turnstiles. So well done, Ben.
Yeah, and listen, he called all 3 penalty saves by Joe Hart on Monday night against Formby.
Not that Joe Hart.
No. Did I confuse everybody when I said Joe Hart in goal?
You may very well have done.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, really, because Joe, as you know, is from the ESPFA Academy team.
Is he?
Yeah, he plays in goal for them. I don't know whether he's in his last year or he's finished this year, but one of those unique situations where you've got 2 players that are named after famous players. So you had Joe Hart in goal, and you had Leighton Baines in midfield. As we know now, both players have played for Schem.
Yep.
And I want to blow smoke a little bit up the backside of the SPFA team and the job that Graham Hastings has done. Because not only did we have Joe in the team, we had the I think at the right back, is it Ben Taylor? I'm not too sure on his name. I might have that wrong. But we also had Hayden Bedford in the team. So we had 3 players from the SPFA team that are Schem based players.
Amazing.
So anybody that says that Schem players don't get a chance, then
this is proof that they do.
That's definitely proof that they did. So yeah. In terms of the result, we lost 3-2.
We did.
As the penalty saves suggest, it could have been a different score altogether.
Yeah. I wasn't at the game, Frank. So tell us what happened. Tell us how it went.
Well, we got off to a flyer. We scored a penalty ourselves within the first minute, I think.
Wow.
And then maybe a minute or 2 after that, they got their first penalty in the first half, and they missed that one. Well, they didn't say missed. Joe Hart saved it. I'm not doing him enough credit there. So he saved the first of the 3 penalties, and I think they went ahead in the first half. They went 2-1 up before the interval. There was a few changes, as you'd expect in the second half. Things changed. They got a little bit tasty. We ended up down to 10 men as a result of that, which was unfortunate. Don't really want to go into details of that, but there was a lot of hair pulling going on, and obviously someone was provoked. Our player was, and ended up sort of swinging out, trying to push somebody off, and the referees decided to send him off. Quite unsavoury, really. But in a friendly one, you don't expect somebody that's on the sidelines to pull someone's hair, and vice versa. You don't expect somebody to swipe out at them either.
No, you don't. It is. It's really unfortunate, and I suppose that kind of brings into context the referee. I just want to zip off onto a different story, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go on.
Thank you. So this came up to my attention 3 days ago, and I didn't actually send it to you at the time, although I thought that I had. And it's a teenage referee said that he felt forced to quit officiating grassroots football due to the abuse he received from parents' players. Lucas Sinclair, 18, from Suffolk, started refereeing at age 14, which is the youngest age at which a person can become a match official. He said he's decided to stop refereeing last year when a player's mother invaded the pitch midway through a match and called him names. Suffolk County Football Association said it was committed to tackling and stamping out poor behaviour across the grassroots game. Describing the incident that led him to quit, he said, "I felt quite scared. She kept shouting at me, saying I was blind." Mr Sinclair said he reported the issues to the host club Kirkley and Pakefield and to the Suffolk County FA. Now, the FA's most recent grassroots disciplinary review says that serious abuse and assaults on match officials has risen by 17% in 1 year, from 14,500 to from 1,450 to 1,710 in the 23-24 season. So he's quit the game. We've had a young referee quit his refereeing venture.
You can understand why.
Started.
Well, you can understand why he would, and you'd pretty much fall out of love pretty quickly. Now,
Gotcha.
This is if you look at racism as well, and it's a really, really strange one to sort of put a parallel on. But in terms of people being targeted because of their colour, rather than because of their personality, a referee is also targeted because of the job that he's doing as a referee, and not because of the human being he is.
True. And
I think in both sectors, we're forgetting that these are human beings.
Yep.
The colour and the vocation in life shouldn't matter. We have to, we have to have referees.
We do.
We have to have assistant referees, otherwise we don't have a fair football match.
We do not.
But I can understand why people are falling out of love as being a referee. I've certainly over the years had to tone it down a bit in terms of having a pop at referees and officials. I don't like doing it. Sometimes when I hear myself saying it, I bite my bottom lip because I think, hang on a minute. I do believe, and I'll always believe that referees and that officials do the best they can possibly do. Yeah. Yes, they make mistakes, but don't we all?
No, we absolutely do.
I think all these people that criticise them, you really pearly white clean and never make mistakes?
Nah, this is true. And in fact, there was another incident, what happened just at the end of June during a charity football tournament, when a referee was surrounded and verbally threatened by players from Hanham Abertonians FC, quite a large amateur footballing industry in Kent. I think they are. They're either in Kent or they're sort of down in the very southern end of the area. Being threatened with verbal and physical abuse. Nobody gets paid enough in expenses and fixed fees for that at any level. Nobody.
No.
And I think we really need to step up and realise the responsibility that we have as being involved with football to protect referees, even when they make mistakes, because goodness knows they didn't want to make the mistake. I know that we question referees for their sight, we question whether they're being paid under the table and all of that, but at the end of the day they're just trying to do the job the best they can.
Yeah, listen, totally agree with you. But listen, getting back to, I'm glad you brought it up, but getting back to Skem United Football Club, obviously the sending off and the result, not great. But I think
positives to take, surely.
Well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because we're trying to be positive, but we've come back full circle, haven't we? Because it's a rebuild. It's pretty much a rebuild. We know we've lost our captain this week. He's decided to sign for Litherland, Remeke. He played for them on Tuesday. Played for them on Tuesday night, a full game, and also scored as well.
Wow.
Listen, we wish him the best of luck. I can fully understand why players that have played for us last season would want to stay at the level that they were playing, or even a level above. I totally understand that. We're all ambitious, and we want to do that.
We are.
From our perspective, we were hoping that, given the fact that we'd gave them the opportunity to get all that experience under the belt, we could carry that through to the next season, wherever we were going to be. As it turns out, Liverpool County Premier. But unfortunately, the flip side to that is that that's not going to happen. I think now we're probably back down to our last one or two players from
last year.
From last year. So it's pretty much a rebuild. But when you're talking about football and you're talking about the disappointment of what's the demise of Skelmersdale United Football Club, it gets worse, because you not only do you fall off the perch, you lose people in the process, and you lose a lot of people that you consider to be friends, and that is also the other side of it is the friends and the allies that you've made during that period. So it's a really difficult one to stomach when they leave. Fully understand why they do, but the flip side to that is, and anybody that's critical of Skem United Football Club, is we're forced into a rebuild. I don't know what you think. You've seen what's been going on.
Yeah, I've seen that. Alternative sports are out there. Alternative, ventures to have on a Saturday afternoon, other than watching Skem. So when I know that we were always going to be outnumbered. In our home from home game against Marine under-23s, a game that we won, but I didn't see enough of people that I recognised on the terraces there. There were a handful of people wearing Skem shirts, but not the regular amount that I would have hoped to. So
that is a direct sort of byproduct of the lack of success. People that have been supporting, never mind the players departing, but we're losing support hand over fist. As well, and we do recognise the problem. We're trying to rectify it, and I don't believe things will. We want to float, and that's the best way to describe it. Is we want to float, and maybe have sort of a half chance of getting promoted again back to the Northwest Counties. But when people are leaving in the droves, supporters, then finances play a big part in football, and it's a double-edged sword.
They're going to dwindle, of course.
Yeah, so if we can't have them coming through the turnstiles, what can we do other than fundraising, which we're gonna sort of get heavily involved in? We've talked about sponsorship. That's come to a complete and utter stop at this point. Right now, as we talk, we've not retained or brought any new sponsors into the club. We've advertised for a new commercial manager, but in the meantime, we've had to sort of find other ways of creating money. So what we've done is now we've gone into an agreement with the MYCDA, which is a new weekly draw to raise money for Skem United Football Club. So what you get here is, apart from the obvious fact that we've got a GoFundMe page, and you don't really get anything other than the fact that a bit of kudos and knowing that you're doing a really good thing for Skem. This, on the flip side of it, if you join the new weekly draw, then you've got the opportunity of winning a weekly cash prize as well, which has got to be good. So anybody can enter that. You don't have to be a supporter. Anybody can put the money into that. And as an example, there's 3 levels. There's I think like a first, second, and third tier membership. If everybody goes for the middle membership, if just trying to work out now, if 100 people buy into that, that can bring the club £500 a month. which is £6,000 a year. That is like a good sponsorship deal, and on top of the one that Lee Davis does as well, the bonus ball one on a Saturday, which has raised a hell of a lot of money, over £5,000 already
for the year.
And given out at about over £3,000 in prize money. So listen, this is an opportunity for you to get involved with the fundraising. If you can't get to the football matches, and we know logistically it's further away from Skem, and there's people that either don't drive or it's going to be more expensive. They're worried about parking, whatever. We've talked about car shares. Listen, we'll probably speak about that a little bit more next week. We maybe need to move into that a little bit more because the season's rapidly sort of coming towards us. So we'll discuss that. But this is an ideal opportunity for you to get something back out of it, as well as help Skem United Football Club as well.
Definitely is, yeah. So I'm just looking at it now. As you say, there are 3 different kinds of memberships. There's your single, your double, and your treble membership. You can, I think it's £4 a month for a single membership. For a double, it's £8 a month. And for a treble, it's £13 a month. I mean, it's a couple of pints at the end of the week, really, isn't it? And then you've got business memberships, which are it's a £5 business membership, but then it's a monthly payment of £21. £10 business membership is £43, and then the £20 business membership is £86 a month. So there's so many different ways that you can get involved with raising money for the club, and equally as much of an opportunity to get yourself something back out of it as well. I promise you, it's worth it.
I don't know at this point how many people have signed up. What I do know was I was the first.
There you go.
Because the information came through to me first, so I thought I'd sign up. And I know people will probably be thinking, you've got the GoFundMe page, you've got the lottery one, you've got the new weekly draw. But some people might prefer the weekly draw to other, giving money into the GoFundMe page. Yeah. But either way, you realise that if Skem are to get out of the... Listen, Skem can flourish with decent... investment. So if people put money into Skem United Football Club, whether that be sponsors, people donating money or using one of these weekly draws,
or buying a season ticket,
coming to the football match, any of these things, the more money that we make, the greater chance that we've got of not just floating, but also making a significant stride in the Liverpool County Premier League as well, because it's not going to be easy. No. We've already talked about it. We've spoken to people. Yeah. We've witnessed it. Listen, we'll come to that in a minute. We will talk about the football matches that we've been to. So listen, the key point is, please support Skem United Football Club, even if you can't get to Marine. If there's anybody out there that wants to support us, has any sympathy for the predicament we're in, then please invest a couple of £1 in Skem. And like you've just said there, if you take up what's the first level?
The single membership.
If you take up the single membership, it's £1 a week. It's £4 a month, so it works out as £1 a week, which is a quarter of a cup of coffee. Yeah. Or a flappuccino, whatever they're called.
Flappuccino for £4.
A fifth of the price of a flapper flappuccino.
Flapperappuccino.
Yeah, whatever they are.
Evidently, Frank has been to Italy, home of coffee.
No, I haven't. I just watched my daughters drinking them.
There you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
So listen, what else was I going to say about Skem then? Listen, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the friendlies. We're coming up to the friendlies anyway. Yeah. Pre-season friendlies. Bury beat Chester 3-1 in front of a crowd of just short of 1,400. Surprisingly, some people, mainly critics, are moaning about the lack of enthusiasm. This stems from the vast crowd at the end of last season, when they got 8,719 people through the turnstiles. And now they're moaning about the fact that they've only sold 900 season tickets so far. Well,
just 900?
What we do for that. Now, some people are citing the increased price in tickets, but let's be honest about it. They've moved up a level. If they're going to be competitive at that level,
they need funds.
There's no way, no doubt about that. And Bury is a massive club with even greater potential. Yep. Now, what you don't want to see is you want to see them avoid the financial issues that they suffered with in 2020 when they went into administration. So if you're moaning about it, then you don't have to go. No. But from what I can see, the club's heading in the right direction. Chris Watts and his commercial team are raking sponsorship in left, right, and centre. The recruitment during the close season has been amazing, and it is also a statement of intent. Yeah. And I just say, what a time to be a Bury fan. They're winning things at the moment, and everybody that's involved with Bury should be embracing that at the moment, because the further up the ladder that they move, it will become much tougher to win those accolades. And just a quick one, really, talking about Noel Gallagher. Now, I wanted to mention this because he branded Bury FC and sort of to give a little bit of context to the bleep, a booking, what would you call it? He called them a booking chit. I said chit. Right, so he was quite derogatory about them. This is at a recent gig at Heaton Park. As you know, the Gallagher brothers are both big Man City fans, but listen, what a great sort of retort from the club. They turned around and said, what did City win last season? or words to that. Was it, who had a trophyless season then? No. So Bury won, Man City 0, and I thought that was really
nice
good
little
to
bit
see,
of
refreshing, and it's put Bury FC on the map a little bit.
Just a little bit more. Ironically enough, Heaton Park is on the way to Bury, as it is anyway. So you'll have had people from the Bury catchment in that crowd at that point. So all this will have done.
But you know what I can see further down the line. Right. I can see a time that maybe when Bury needs to sort of retract from being a fan ownership. I can see the Gallagher brothers buying into Bury.
Can you?
Yeah, can you know? Well, let's. The class of '92 bought into Salford. Why not?
Well, they did, yeah, but they were all.
I think I brokered the deal already. Listen, Noel.
It's more likely to be Liam than Noel, really.
If you're listening, why don't you invest in Bury Football Club?
Or even better, invest in Skem.
Well, yeah, but they're more likely to go for Bury, aren't they? But
true.
Anyway, listen, I went to watch a game on Saturday because unfortunately our game had to be called off against AFC Liverpool. So I watched Nalgo at their home on Alder Lane up in Liverpool, and I didn't watch all of the game because it was stiflingly hot, but the City of Liverpool ran out, I think, 4-3 winners. It looked as though in the first half that the City of Liverpool were absolutely steamrolling Nalgo, but obviously changes at half-time, sort of balanced the game out a little bit. There was no Ruben Denton. Believe it or not, he was on holiday with his mum in Spain, I think. Yeah. Surprise there. No. But Harrison Denton was playing, and of course Jason Clarke was playing as a centre half. So it was nice to catch up with Harrison, who and his dad, of course Charlie, who were both there on Monday night at the game as well. But you watched a different game completely.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So.
Listen, can I just say though, Nalgo. Looking at Nalgo, because they were second in the division last season, they're going to be a tough team.
Are they?
Yeah, they're going to be a tough team. No doubt about that.
Nice.
City of Liverpool. I think they're going to struggle next season, to be perfectly honest with you. But that's all I want to say. I'm not trying to be controversial there. No. I think they're in a stage of rebuild.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But listen, AJ, what game did you go and watch?
So I went to see Sandbach United versus Pilks.
Yeah.
Now the reason for that is one of my best mates, big Man United fan, has been for the entire time I've known him, which has been about 6 years now, lives in the town of Sandbach, but has never gone to see a Sandbach United game.
So how did you force him into that?
So all it was, we'd been due a scheduled catch-up anyway. I'd not seen him for a little while, and it just so happened that Sandbach United were playing on that Tuesday night. So I said, look, if I come down on Tuesday night, we'll make a bit of an evening of it. We'll get some food, and then we'll go and watch Sandbach United. because they're playing that evening.
You blackmailed him, really.
I didn't blackmail him.
You said to him,
all.
I'll come down if you go and watch Sandbach with me.
Near enough. Well, I paid for the tickets, he paid for the drinks. So it was a good arrangement. It was £6 to get in, and he absolutely loved it.
And what a nice setup.
Yeah.
The clubhouse is spectacular, isn't it?
Gorgeous setup there. It's probably the most kind of bougie and lavish I've ever seen. I was talking to a couple of fans about it during the game, as you do, we mix, and it turns out there's a massive chunk of 3G pitches on the site itself, which Sandbach United own.
It's a big community sports hub.
It's an enormous community sports hub. Well, Sandbach United take the proceeds from that and feed it into the club itself. They also have an enormous array of different age group teams from the youth setup. I think they've got a ladies setup and the veteran setup as well. All of that money is funneled into the running of the club itself. So they're a really well sustained club. And even on that Tuesday night friendly against Pilks, they amassed about 100 fans or so.
That's the only thing they're short of, isn't it? Support.
It is, yes. So Sandbach as a town is a little bit isolated from everywhere else. I mean, your nearest semi-pro football club, your nearest professional club, sorry, would be Crewe, absolutely, because Sandbach holds a Crewe postcode. And you've got Macclesfield, which is on the way, but there are so many different clubs within that area. So Sandbach are a little bit cut off, but they're still signing players and bringing in players. They had a Spanish international who made his debut for Sandbach on that Tuesday night game. Did reasonably well. Put himself about, had a bit of an impact for the first 55 minutes, and was actually a really nice guy. We congratulated him for his stint. And he was he was full of smiles. So it was a really, really good atmosphere.
Parallels there between them and MSB Walton in terms of the growth.
So. Yes, I think so. We know that MSB Walton have the biggest footballing setup in terms of teams across all of Europe. So they're a big community organisation, and I think Sandbach are, very much the same. Sandbach isn't near any professional setup, as I say, so people go and they watch semi-pro.
I went down there last season.
Did you?
Not last season. Yeah, last season. The beginning of the season to watch our FA youth team play Sandbach, and I think we beat them 6-0 or something like that. All
right, so they've got a bit of catching up to do on the youth setup, but otherwise it's a good. They've even got a scoreboard there, a proper electric scoreboard.
That's how I can remember the Schem 6.
Yeah,
Sandbach now. I think it was anyway.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful environment as well. The trees and the fields across that gorgeous kind of countryside backdrop. Yeah, it was wonderful. But he had a brilliant time. My friend, he's fully engrossed within the non-league setup. So I'm hoping that he's going to come and see a Schem game. Good. I'm hoping to get him invested in the club a little bit. But it was a good night for Sandbach as well, as they beat Pilks by a 1-0. The goal coming in the 75th minute of the game, and it was quite an even contest between the two sides as well. Pilks are a division above Sandbach. Sandbach made it to the playoff semis last year.
Division 1 South.
Yeah, of Division 1 South. So they were reasonably evenly matched.
Pilks struggled, didn't they, at the end of the season?
They did struggle at the end of the season, but
they struggled most of the season.
But it looked like they bridged a bit of a gap. Their right winger in particular, very, very fast, very sharp on the turn, good ball control. He's a very, very tricky winger, and a lot of their attacks kind of went through him. But they were breaching the back line for Sandbach on quite a few occasions down the wings. So they could have something good going for him in the season to come.
Yeah, listen, best of luck to them.
Yeah, most certainly.
Just looking at some of the results over the weekend, nothing during the week I've really had time to sort of pick up on that, but some interesting results.
Yeah.
If you look around, Ashton United were beaten 5-0 by Crewe Alexander. Yeah, nothing sort of unsurprising about that. Hyde United beat Runcorn Linnets 1-0. FC United were beaten by Rochdale 3-0.
that's less of a surprise as well. Rochdale, still sort of an enormous club in those in those parts as well.
I was surprised with the AFC Blackpool versus Ramsbottom United because they're both in the same division, aren't they?
No, AFC Blackpool are in ours and
Ramsbottom
are in the Prem.
Ours. What was ours?
I know, right?
I know it's hard to.
Well, they were both ours at one point. Yeah. Let me just having a look at something else. Warrington Town losing to Altrincham by 3 goals to 0.
Westid's going to have a tough season, Warrington, I think.
I think you're right, yeah. West Didsbury and Chorlton drawing 1-1 with Main Road. That's not a bad result for Main Road because they won on penalties to win the Rob Turley Trophy. Yeah. And then the biggest shock of all, I suppose, was Wigan Athletic drawing with Curzon Ashton.
We don't know whether that was an 11.
Oh, it may have been an 11, but whatever. It's a good result for Curzon Ashton. Yeah.
Atherton LR, they lost to Barnton away from home 3-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Dave will be particularly shocked. I think there was a couple of trialists who made their bow for the club there. He's got a season that he's just going to want to build on and try and test out as many players as what he possibly can. They've lost about 3 or 4 of their squad from last season, from their promotion winning squad. So he's going to bridge that gap as best he can.
And listen, a lot of the fixtures have come out for next season now. We know the Northwest counties are out. I think the pitching in Northern Premier League, they're out. I don't know about the National League.
I'm not sure we're there yet.
But listen, what we'll do is
we're not there yet, are they?
Next week we'll have a look into the sort of starting weeks fixtures and maybe look at who we think are going to be the top teams,
the trail pacers and the stragglers.
Because there's always surprises, isn't there?
Always surprises.
We look at Nelson finish plumb bottom one season and then they're in the playoffs the next season. Unfortunately, we weren't as lucky as them to be reprieved. No. But yeah, we'll have a look at all of that in next week's programme because it will be interesting to see who the favourites are.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, you used to be able to bet on the favourites as well, but I'm not mentioning
You're
betting
not allowed
every
to
end.
do
I'm
that.
not allowed to do that.
I don't think I am either.
No, you're a member of the football club. So listen, looking at the fixtures ahead, Friday night, which is tonight, Prescott Cables versus Nantwich Town. Whoever, and that's a 7:30 kickoff. Whoever wins that game, the 1884 Cup, will win the cup, obviously. Cables will retain the trophy if they win it. I don't know a great deal of the 1884 Cup.
No, me neither.
I should have done my homework.
It started 2 years after we formed.
2 years after we formed.
There you go.
Yeah. I feel as though I've been alive that long. I'm certainly tired. I don't sleep at night. So
No, you do not.
I'm not looking for sympathy, but anyway, listen. Saturday. You move on to Saturday. Which one do you want to pick out of there?
Yeah, so I think the good one to look at is Buxton versus Bury. 3 p.m. Kick-off on the Saturday. Bury travelling up to down to the Peak District for that one, and I think if they win that one, that's a real statement of what they're going to do in the Northern Premier League West this year.
Interesting one here though. Marine versus Morecambe. 3 o'clock kickoff. Now, if we've said it's 48 hours decision time on whether they have a future or not, then it could be there could be no game. There might be no.
Could
game
be curtains, couldn't it? And that'd be really, really sad, actually, if that was to materialise. I think.
Well, they did turn up midweek, didn't they, for the game?
They did.
And people weren't particularly expecting that. Can't remember who they played now.
No, but nonetheless, that I think I think time will have to tell on this one, and it'll be the immediate time to tell. Wow. And then there's us.
Yeah. There's us. We're playing Runcorn Town away from home, 3 o'clock. Runcorn, it's going to be a difficult one. They had a sort of half decent season, really, didn't they? Darren Moore and Liam Page. We interviewed Darren, didn't we?
We did
on the last series, and they've done a remarkable job with them, and they're hoping to kick on this season. I think it's going to be a really difficult test for us.
Yeah.
A really, really difficult test for us.
Yeah.
Make no bones about that. But listen, you find out what you're made of in these games.
Well, yeah, of course you do. And I think the boys there will they'll find out what they're made of, and I'm hoping that it will just kind of steel them up, if you like. To prepare them for life in the Liverpool counties. I think the other game to kind of draw your attention to is the North West Counties Champions Cup, which takes place on Monday night.
That's Monday night. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, which is between Bury and Charnock Richard.
Right.
Yeah.
So Charnock Richard won the North West Counties Challenge Cup, I'm assuming.
They did. Yes, that was the
that
North
qualifies them to play the champions.
Yeah. And Bury obviously won the North West Counties Premier.
Yeah, be an interesting game.
It certainly will. So that takes place at Bury's ground at Gig Lane on Monday.
Tickets are on sale now as we speak.
Tickets are on sale now. Adults are £8 and under 18s are £3. Booking fees do apply. A third of the net proceeds of that fixture will be donated to the league's charity partner, and the remainder to be split between the two clubs. So if you're available on a Monday night, get down and have a look at that. It will be an amazing game.
I quite fancy sneaking to that one. I just don't know what my schedule is for the week. But
well, I was thinking about that myself, to be honest, on a Monday
night. Good one to go and watch.
Certainly will.
Listen, Warrington Town versus Southport, I think that's an interesting fixture as well, because both teams not doing particularly well.
Yeah, they have. They're in a bit of a rebuild and a new era, aren't they? Both teams. I know Warrington sort of finished middle of the park, and Southport were sort of further down the league, if you like. And Warrington, did they play last week? I don't think they. No, it was Warrington Town 1946 that. Oh no, they did. Sorry, they lost to Altrincham. So they've got a bit of making up to do and a bit more of a rebuild job there. What do you think, Frank? Do you think home win, away win, or draw?
I think Southport will sneak that one.
I think you might be right.
Be interesting to see whether our ex-player Donna Amaral features in that, and I don't even know now whether what's his name? The player who played for us, Gomez.
Oh,
Renato
Gomez.
He was with Southport last season. I wonder whether he'll get a chance. Bearing in mind that we're talking about relying heavily on youth. I know he got put out on loan, didn't he? Ended up at the City of Liverpool, amongst other places.
Is he in Sweden now?
Oh yeah, that's right. He's in Sweden. So he won't feature at all.
No, he won't.
His visa ran out.
Yeah, so he's had to relocate to Sweden.
Oh, what a wasted talent, really, because he sat on the bench at Southport, briefly making sort of cameo appearances.
For 5 minutes at a time. It's desperately sad. He's a great player for us.
Absolute waste of talent. But listen, that's sort of, they're just a few fixtures that we've picked out of for Saturday, and of course that one on Monday, the final of finals, whatever it's called. Yeah,
the North West Counties Champions
Cup, yeah. So listen, we're coming to the end of the show. It's been a long show, actually, isn't it? Considering it's a short show.
Yeah. We've gambled a little bit more into Premier League football and the money side of things than perhaps we would normally do. Yeah,
and I think we sort of have to. I think we have to move a little bit in terms of that, and also realise that because of the show and the way we're trying to deliver it, that it's going to be very, very difficult to keep the momentum of having guests on in terms of our recording schedule. Otherwise, we're going to have to change the night that we do it, and we have every now and then we've bobbed and weaved. But it's a difficult one because Thursday nights when we record, mainly training nights, even though we normally do the interviews around about 5:30, don't we?
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, hopefully the show will, grow. We're still getting good listening figures. So we'll move on, and we'll come to that final stage where we ask the question, and I've certainly asked the question to you, and then I'll answer it myself. What have you learned this week?
I have learned that if you are not doing well, you are less likely to garner the support that you desperately need and want. But it's the time when you need it the most is when you are struggling, and it's the time when fans and supporters are valued more than ever. Is when you are struggling. That's what I've learned. Yeah,
and listen, I totally agree with you there. And maybe mine is a little bit of a sort of question followed by an answer, really. Do you get less resilient the older that you get? You can't really answer that question because you're merely a 30-year-old, aren't you? I'm coming up to 58. I feel right now as though I sort of have become a little bit less resilient. Little things that have gone wrong seem to have a bigger impact on me than they once did before. But we all have our demons to battle, and I've realised over the last few weeks during the close season that you just have to keep sticking. You have to keep going. You just got to keep going, and you can't. It's not like you can. I feel as though I'm on a roundabout at times, and a magic roundabout. What do they call them? Roundabouts? Yeah, the roundabouts, aren't they? The ones in the parks.
Roundabouts.
Yeah, when you're a kid and somebody spins you faster and faster and faster, and you can't get off.
That's a roundabout, yeah.
Roundabout. You can't get off unless you fall off.
Yeah.
Well, I'm clinging on to that roundabout at the moment. That's the way I feel at the moment. But listen, it's pressure, of running the football club. And if anybody thinks it's easy, then I promise you it isn't. Mm-hmm. And those that are involved in football, and certainly AJ now, has had a good apprenticeship over the last year. You know how difficult it is, and you know how much it grabs your heart, and it doesn't matter how much you want to run away from it. At times,
pretty much.
It keeps pulling you back, doesn't it?
It'd be so much easier for me to go and take a job at a club that's thriving a little bit more than Scam, but just can't do it.
But listen, I mean, one day that might happen, and I'm sure you will draw from the experience to help you in future life. I think it's definitely a character builder, running a football club. I mean, the first time round I did it was in my 30s. And like I said, I was resilient then. I could do that, but I was much more of an arc then as well. I wouldn't. Well, everybody says I'm too soft. Right now they say I'm too soft, and I probably am. Yeah. But I always think that it's best to have friends in football rather than fall out with people, and a lot of people can learn from that. But the young Frank wouldn't have put up with what I'm putting up with now. Right. Certainly in terms of the social media keyboard warriors that exist. Sometimes I just want to tell them to
do one. Yeah.
But hey, listen, I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm still fighting. So Scam United Football Club.
Just keep supporting us.
Yeah,
please.
This is the end of our third episode of the second season, and the final words go to AJ, the dulcet tones of.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ the Jet, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. We are available on streaming services wherever you get your podcast, including Spotify and Amazon Music. So please subscribe to our show to find out when the next episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show has been released. Please also rate and review us on the streaming services, as we do thrive off your words and your feedback. We're also available on social media sites such as X and Facebook under the banner name Speaking Frankly Football Show. So from me, AJ, and Frank, thank you very much for listening to us, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. Until then, bye-bye for now.
Special shout out to all the businesses that support Skelmersdale United Football Club: Origin Sign Company, T&W Garners, 7PDS, Schem Express Cars 5005, Lease Car UK, RNB Auto Centre, SB Skills Solutions and Hey Presto Web Design. Thank you to everyone who donates to the club, supports our race nights, raffles and the lottery bonus ball scheme, and of course the last man standing. A special thanks to those who organise these fundraising events, especially the incredible Lee Davis and Lucas Bergquist. To all who stand by us both on and off the field, we are truly grateful. If you wish to sponsor the show, please contact me at chairman.skemutdfc@gmail.com or call me on 07766 054 548. All proceeds will go to Skelmersdale United Football Club. Thank you for your unwavering support.